So I just fill you in. I just come back for a long walk, and I've not been able to do a lot on my channel recently because I've been writing out a lot of the script for my website and my courses. It's going really well. I've been testing it out on some people that I've done some hypnotherapy on, and some of my clients, and also some friends, and they love the questionnaire I've put in. They're loving the way the course works. So I've been testing some basic structure out on that. It's been a lot of work really thinking of, the 4 week course, how I want it to run, what really is the aim of the course and how it's going to benefit people. Yeah, and it's a lot of work, but I'm definitely getting there now. So, and it's so much to write out. It's ridiculous. And you think you've written it, and then you look at it and you rewrite it to make sure you reread it a couple of days later and you see faults in what you've done, and you just nip and tuck it here and there, but keeping the main context there. So really happy with my progression and my work, considering I'm dyslexic and I didn't do much in school. Doing something like this is not natural for me, but it's something that I'm definitely working on, and it's something that it's helping me to grow as a person. And another thing that helps me to grow as well, I've been thinking about doing a little post about, as you all know, if you don't know, I've got 3 dogs, and the benefits, what I've learned about myself with my dogs. I would just like to say that, you know, one of my dogs called Jack is a bit difficult. He's got a beautiful soul, but he's a bit of a character, and he's very stubborn and he's very nervous. And I've been bitten a few times by him, just because, when I first got him, he was quite a nervous dog. He's very difficult, but what he's taught me is that, you know, people say, why do you have him? Well, it's a bit like having a friend, really, or meeting somebody, and people seem to think anything that makes you feel uncomfortable you can just shun. And the reason why I've stuck at him, and I stuck at doing the life coaching, I stuck at self-development, it's not a comfortable thing to go through, but it's something that I feel is necessary to help you to grow and understand a lot about yourself. Jack, because he's a very difficult dog, he's taught me patience, he's taught me virtue, and sometimes, I have lost my rag with him and I regret it after because it doesn't really help it. But he's lying down by my side by here, and he's a very special dog. He loves me to death, and he would put his life in front. He would die for me basically if he had a choice. And then I got my other dog, Milo, another Jack Russell. He's a completely different character. And I've got my other dog, Thelma. She's a different personality. And they've taught me so much about human beings and how we judge. Because my dog, Jack, can lose his rag 1 minute, and 5 seconds later he's coming up to me to say sorry. And it's like it's all forgotten in the dog. They don't hold grudges. They don't plot out like, oh, you did this to me, so I'm going to wait 5 years before I come back and get you. They don't do that. They live in the moment. They live with what has happened to them and what is in front of them. Am I fed? Am I walked? Am I nurtured? Am I taken care of? Am I loved? And that's all a dog really needs. So I was watching a really big video by Russell Brand, and I've also watched another video also by Jim Carrey. I think I put it up on my site, and not myself, on my page, and it really taught me to think about one thing. So, the stuff I've learned from my dogs, learned from being quite a deep thinker, and also doing all the NLP and life coaching, and the stuff that I've got into, is fundamentally we tend to look into our lives and think that we have to always be something to give ourselves recognition. And I think it's very important for us to realize everything that we need is straight there in front of the mirror. And I've said this before, the hardest thing is learning to develop the eyes, the eyes to see that we already have all of the tools. We already have everything that we've ever needed. We've already have all of the gifts that we've ever asked for. Just sometimes we've chosen to ignore them, or we've not nurtured them as much as we should have done, and we've not put emphasis in the areas of our lives we could have done. So there's hope for everybody. And the reason why I think a lot of people get depressed and a lot of people don't like to admit this is the fact that they stop themselves from living the true life that they should have been living. The fact is that when you're not able to express yourselves fully as a human being, that's emotionally, intellectually, with your artful nature. And I'm not on about being an artist, but to be artful in your nature means to be able to create your own image of yourself, and to live with that. I think if someone is fully living to that full potential and they're being creative on a daily basis and they're pushing their limitations and they're finding out new things about themselves all of the time, I don't think you'd have room for depression. And that's, I think, an answer that we can give ourselves. If you're feeling depressed, sometimes it's because sometimes it's just that. Yeah, there is clinical depression. There's a massive imbalance in the brain, and it takes some people that have this condition to really fight hard to snap themselves out of it. But it's proven when you exercise and you move and you do stuff, you're less likely to have depression because it releases certain dopamines in the brain and happy juices out of the body that kind of help you. And also when you're exercising, you've got respect for yourself and you know that you're living the life that you should be doing. The biggest problem we have, I think, is we tend to forget that we're working animals, and we are working animals. We animals of incredible stamina, where we're meant to be running across plains chasing animals for hours at a time, or we're meant to be going out foraging for food for hours on upon a time, all and every day out in nature looking for stuff. And the modern world that we live in today doesn't necessarily need us to go out and forage for food, because we just need money and we walk into the supermarket and it's there. It's convenience is fantastic, yeah, and it's amazing, but at the same time it's taken the empowerment of what we were truly bred for. And that's why exercise is so important, because exercise is the one thing that gets us back in tune with our primal monkey-like hunting self. And it's hard for most people to understand that, but I think once you've come to terms with the fact that we are meant to be working hard, we were meant to be physically fit, we were meant to be eating a variety of different types of foods, and food that looks like food, not stuff that's been made in a packet where we can just eat. I think once we learn, we just have to make that bit of an effort. And because we're so complicated and because we're so highly intellectual, we've overcomplicated everything. And I think it's to simplify your life and get yourself back to the basics of what you know truly makes yourself happy. Just because somebody else is living a different life to you, don't compare yourself to them. Compare yourself to yourself. It's important that you compare yourself to yourself, compare your own life to your own life, and live by your own standards. And really love who you are. It's hard, to be a positive person, because I piss people off all of the time, because how can you be happy all the time? You know what? I get depression, I get tough days, I get difficult times, but I choose to ignore certain aspects and focus on the stuff I really want, and to move forward no matter how difficult the time is I'm in. I'm going through a really difficult patch financially at the moment, and yeah, I'm still here being as positive as I can, because I realize the money doesn't make me. Money will come and go in my life, but one thing money can't ever give me is the person I am and the development I've gone through. It's helped to buy me courses, it's helped to buy me books, it's helped to do this. But how much of money do we waste on stupid stuff that doesn't make us happy, really? It's crazy when you really think about it. So just be a bit more humble with your life. And if you really want to get out of depression, and you really want to make your life feel a bit better, start doing the stuff that really makes you feel like you've got purpose. You wake up in the day and you know that when you go to work, you're going to be valued as an individual. And I think that's the one thing that we need to look for. If you're doing a job for security, then I understand you've got a family and everything, but it comes to a point where your security is destroying you as a human being, and then you are bringing home that anger and that stress and that crap into your life, and destroying the lives of your people that are in your lives, because you're trying to live your life through a status symbol, what you think is important, rather than doing what's truly important. And yeah, you might have to downsize your life a bit. You might have to drive around in a shittier car, but hey, you know what? If you've got a smile on your face and you can look in the mirror every day knowing that you've got 100% less stress than you used to have, and you're living a life of better quality, then that's what matters. So this is from me to you. Have an amazing day, yeah? And hope you've had a fantastic weekend. Sends some respect and love from Sweden. And 2019's been amazing so far. Let's keep this going.